All right, everyone, we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited because this evening we are doing a live webinar on how to get paid more for who you are by elevating your online brand presence. And I'm going to bring on a special guest who's going to actually be on the webinar with me this evening, Karim Raymond, who is an online branding expert. And I'm just really happy for her to be collaborating with myself and my team because it's such an amazing opportunity when you have powerful women leading this new way of putting entrepreneurs out into the world, building relationships, creating connections, sharing love and commitment on your mission in the world, and being able to provide that like Karim does all over the world. It's just a blessing and honor. So I'm going to see if she's there. Let me bring her onto the stream right now. Karim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you
hear me?
All right. Well, welcome. I was just sharing with everybody how excited we are for tonight's webinar on how to get paid more for who you are by elevating your online brand presence. We're going live right now to give people an opportunity to ask any questions that they may have and to get a little taste of what they're going to experience during tonight's webinar at 7 p.m. So Karim, can you just share a little bit about how did you get into this branding space? How did you discover that branding yourself was valuable and important for your business?
Okay, so that's a great story because I think I discovered it because I had to discover it. I was living in the States a few years back, and I was invited to this business group that I wanted to belong to, and they had 5 interviews for qualifying people to be part of it. So in those 5 interviews, they always asked me what was my website. I didn't have a website at the time, and my email was very unprofessional. It was Liza70k@hotmail.com.
It's better than AOL, okay?
I don't know. At the time, I thought Liza Simpson was cool, and that was my email. And then they Googled me, didn't find anything, and they also asked me what was my value proposition, which I've never heard in my life. So after going through that process 5 times, at the end, when the person in charge says like, "We're sorry, but you just don't have the profile, the qualification that we need for the people in our group, and it's not that we don't believe you, but we don't find anything of you." So that was the very first time, and I was living in the States, and I was like, yeah, I don't have any family, friends, connections here. So what I said only is not enough. So that was the time that I did my own personal branding. That was more than 10 years ago. And then I started getting the real results once I have all that done. And that's how I ended up doing that myself, wanted to come here to Latin America and start sharing the power of personal branding for people.
That's very interesting because I had a semi-similar experience coming into the world of personal branding. I personally had already been doing marketing and branding for over a decade, actually. And I knew the power of branding and marketing. I just didn't understand how branding and marketing yourself was valuable. I thought it was branding and marketing your company, your business, your website, which is still very important, obviously, right? We never talk about that that's not important, but it seems, and I'm trying to figure out exactly why, but as entrepreneurs, for some reason, we don't realize how valuable we are, how important we are in the business process. Can you, in your experience, can you touch on why is it that the entrepreneur themselves, and obviously this isn't every single entrepreneur, but for like the 80% of who's the face of the business, the ones that are the coaches, the consultants, the people that are service-based businesses and that they make the sales, why is investing in their personal brand, Karim, as if not more valuable than investing in their business brand?
Hmm. I think the example I picked it up from you because I think is very powerful because companies they have known this for a long time, you know, like big companies, they know if they invest money on a person to represent their business or their products, they actually sell more. And that what they do is they invested on celebrities, they invested on people they know they have a good following. So what I say is, like, if companies have been doing that for a long time and they invest in other people that are not the owners in talking about their products or their companies, why wouldn't each person do the same thing on their own? Because once a person is in front of a company or a business or a product or service, they immediately are going to start having more responsive for people because people want to connect to people. Maybe 40 years ago, the culture was to believe for the name of the company, the logo, you know, like, oh, you know, this is the brand that my grandparents and my parents have been using, and now I'm doing it. I don't care what you say. But that's no longer true. Now, that why social media it changed the course of history is because people want to connect to people. Once we know that, then that's when the real results get, because people are connecting. They want to know who's the person behind a company. So that's why I will say is important.
And I think with technology, right, with the smartphones that we all have, and the power of social media has now exploded the opportunity to be able to leverage a personal brand. I mean, and great examples are like Kylie Jenner and the whole Kardashian family, and all these people who've done reality TV shows who aren't necessarily, let's call them celebrities, but because they've had enough exposure, they're now being able to monetize because of who they are, not even really because of anything that they do as a product or service, which I personally find extremely fascinating, that you can actually get paid and make money because of who you are, sometimes even more than what it is that you do or your product or your service. It blows my mind. And at first, I didn't actually think that I could make money, that I could get paid because of who I am, until I started building my personal brand. And all of a sudden, people started reaching out to me. They want me to represent their brands. They want me to make posts for them. They want me to speak at their events. They want to do joint ventures. And all of a sudden, all this business is coming to me. And I'm like, wait a second, how is this possible? Because people are seeing the value in the person and they make the connection. That's why, like you said, all these large multi-million-dollar companies hire celebrities to represent them. That's why they put their face on it, because people connect to the celebrity and then they'll buy the product or service. People don't just go straight to buy the product or service, especially now, because times have changed, like you said, maybe 15, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. But now people are too smart on how this works. Commercials have all changed. They're not the same. And TV has moved online, right? And to social. So as an entrepreneur, this is the greatest time in the history of the world to be an entrepreneur and to leverage a personal brand. So I want to go really quick, Karim, if it's okay, to the chat. If you are tuning in right now live, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, drop in what city you're in. What city are you tuning in from so we can welcome you? I see that we have Julian here from Miami, Florida. Welcome, Julian. Who else do we have? We have Ludovine joining us as well. We got a couple other people I see on here, about 30 viewers at the moment. So if you're just joining us, drop in a little comment in the Facebook or the YouTube. Let us know what city you're in so we can welcome you. And do you have any question on how to grow your business, how to market yourself and your services, how to expand and get more customers? We're doing this live right now because we want to give you guys a preview of what Karim and I will be speaking about this evening on our live webinar at 7 p.m. Eastern, sharing with you, all entrepreneurs, specifically the women, all right? We're really about the feminine energy in the world, how to get paid more for who you are, how to explode sales, how to get more leads. all the things that most entrepreneurs are struggling with, we have figured out a way to successfully do this with less resistance, which is key, right? One thing is being able to be, productive and produce results. Another is a way to do it that has ease and grace and is fun, and you enjoy what you're doing, and it's not hard work. And that's one of the things that Karim and I have figured out how to do for ourselves. And now we're blessed enough to be able to teach others just like you to do it. So I see here we have a question. Oh, we also have Cheryl from Wisconsin at the moment, she says. Welcome, Cheryl. We got Julian on YouTube, and Julian's asking a question here. What's the best way to get started with personal branding? Karim, do you want to answer that one? What's the best way to get started with personal branding?
Well, to me, the best way to get started with personal branding is getting clear what is the value that you offer to people? And then how do you put that on an expert title? Because from then is where you start all the other aspects. So having clear that little message is going to provide more power and effectiveness in any other actions that you take. That's where I would say.
I would tend to agree with that. When we do our course, Celebritize Your Brand in 2 days, which is now available digital, by the way, for those of you that have attended it live, you now can actually attend it through our digital course and don't have to wait till a live event. So that's really cool. And in that Celebritize Your Brand in 2 days event, we teach 3 main areas to work on when building a personal brand. Number 1 is your verbal identity, which is what Karim is talking about, the language that you use. And when I say language, it's not just when you're speaking, but when you're writing. The copywriting that goes on your website, on your social media posts, on your landing pages, on your text messages, on your emails, the written word, the language you use, your verbal identity is the most important part of marketing in general and the most important part of your personal brand. Now, the other 2 are your visual identity, what people see, which is the graphics, the videos, the imagery. And then there's the value identity. What is your purpose? What is your mission? What are you really here to do? Not just make money. It's always about a greater good, about a stronger, bigger purpose, which is what people will connect to and want to do business with you, not just because you sell a product or service. A lot of people miss that part. They just go to verbal and visual. They miss the value identity. People will be more connected to something that has a cause, that has a purpose, that has a mission, that connects with them in their heart. That's why if you notice the big companies, when they're doing the commercials like Nike and stuff, they put the athletes, they show them going through the pain and the struggle and the commitment and the sweat and the tears. Why? Because that's creating the emotion. That's the value identity that they're trying to connect with their brand. Most people miss that piece. And it's actually one of the most important on a subconscious underlining foundational level, even though the verbal identity is the most important. So yes, Karim, I absolutely agree.
I'm going to tie that back to what you were talking about, like how people get paid by who they are, right? Because then there is this myth that regular people have is like, oh, I have to be on a bathing suit all the time to be, to have followers, to have people to pay attention to me, or I have to be like a YouTuber doing silly things, or I have to be a celebrity, an artist in order to develop, like to be followed. But then it's not about that, because you do have, and I wanted to share about your formula, like what is a celebrity? Because it's not about all those things. It might be a way to be perceived as a celebrity, but then at the end, that connects to the value, like what's in the people's heart that you want to get known. And you don't need to go to what most of the people perceive as a celebrity to be perceived as a celebrity in your own environment. So what? How about you sharing your formula?
So I created this formula, I would say maybe 6 months ago, that I actually established it like this is a formula. Now, I had been studying it for over 3 years with myself, like how is this working? And then studying others like Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, just watching what they're doing, looking at their messaging, looking at their marketing. And what I've discovered And this is, it's not a secret formula, but it's my formula. I actually wrote the book called Cracking the Celebrity Code. And that's how I explain how I came to this formula as an entrepreneur for myself, right? And the formula is this: what you see, what you hear, and what you read about a person multiplied by the amount of exposures over time. Okay, so think about this for a second. So visual, right? You see photos, you see videos, magazine articles, emails, all these different visual aspects of an individual doing X, Y, and Z. Okay, that's exposure. Then you might read articles underneath those images on a post, an email, a blog, a magazine. So now you're reading and you're seeing more exposure. And then the third is that you're listening. So you might hear a radio interview, you might hear a podcast, you might hear something, you know, on a video. That's the verbal. So the visual, the verbal, and the contextual, which is the written, all of those multiplied by multiple exposures. So you're seeing them over and over and over and over and over again over a certain amount of time. That formula equals a celebrity. It actually equals a celebrity perception. And that's where people really are not clear. There's no such thing as a celebrity. There is only perception of a person that is a celebrity based on the amount of exposures over time that you've had from what you see, what you heard, and what you read. Because if you've never seen, heard, or read anything about that person, would they be a celebrity in your perception?
Yeah.
No way. So you take one person that's had all the exposures to this individual, and you take another person that's had zero exposures, their perception of that person is completely different. So there is no such thing as celebrity. It's all based on perception. And how do we create it? Through personal branding and marketing. And that's what we do within our Celebritize Your Brand in 2 days event. And that's what we're going to be talking about this evening at 7 p.m. on our live webinar.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Now, you also mentioned something about it's not any type of things that you do. It needs to have a consistency and also a quality, right? Like me posting every single day a selfie and then a quote does not equal to being a celebrity. So it also needs to have some work behind it, right? And consistency and then quality.
That's correct. I mean, look at it this way. If you're just joining us now, we're talking about the power of personal branding and how it can help you get more sales. It can help you get more leads. It can increase how much you get paid for what you do and find higher paying clients. But it's not as simple as it seems. It's consider this like a puzzle piece. This is a big puzzle piece with so many different pieces. If you don't have all the right pieces, you can't actually complete the puzzle, right? So number one is you need all the pieces. Okay, great. So let's say you have all the pieces. What's the next thing you have to do? You have to put the pieces in the right order. And I've met so many entrepreneurs that have a lot of the pieces, but guess what? Their puzzle is not in the right order. It's a mess, and it doesn't fit properly, and that's why they're not as effective as they could be. You first need all the puzzle pieces, and then you need to put them in the right order. And how do you figure that out? That's been the challenge. That's what I've dedicated the last 4 years of my life to figuring out. I had all the puzzle pieces. I've been doing marketing and branding for 15 years. I have all the pieces to the puzzle. I just took me forever to figure out what order they were supposed to go. And now that I have, and my business is growing, my brand is growing, I'm having people reach out to me, you know, I'm making more money than I've ever have. I've been able to contribute and serve more people than I've ever had. Now I'm like, wait a second, there's a real formula here. There's a real process. And I don't want to keep that to myself, because there's other entrepreneurs that have stumbled upon this same information just like I have. The only difference is they're only utilizing it for themselves. They're not sharing it with other fellow entrepreneurs. So I decided, besides the business that I have, it's like my responsibility as a heart-centered, socially conscious, faith-based entrepreneur to share this with other people, because I know what it's done for me. It's changed my life. It's changed my business. It's changed my family's life. And I want the same for others who are going through the same situations I am. So with that being said, we have a few people that are joining us. We got Ludovine, we got Julian, we got Cheryl, we got George, we got Anna. Let's see, Anna's calling from Mexico. Hey, Anna Torres, greetings from Mexico. We got Felipe, we got, let's see who else here, Jaime, and we got a lot of people on here, Karim. So we got a few minutes before we got to wrap up. So can you share really quickly with everyone listening, what's going to be the biggest benefit of attending tonight's webinar at 7 p.m.? You know, what are they really going to get for themselves from this webinar that they can take and implement into their business and start seeing some results?
Well, I would say tonight is going to be the opportunity to really get to see the big vision. How, if you want to get known, if you want your message to be spread out globally, what would be the essential parts you need to take care of in order for that to happen soon? Because then, yeah, everybody is going to have the same chance to get their message out there. But there is a difference between taking 5 years and figuring it out than doing it, you know, finding how to do it in 48 hours. You know, that's the main thing. And then also what I want to share is that a person that says I do personal branding, you got to be careful, because one single person cannot do personal branding. It's a team. So that's the one thing that I want to impress upon the most, is that if like doing your website is not personal branding, having pictures is not your personal branding, you know, having your social media taken care of is not personal branding.
Instagram by itself is not personal branding.
Exactly. So that's what you're also going to learn tonight, is not doing these separate things and then one person cannot say themselves, I do personal branding. A team is needed, a team of experts. And that's also what we're going to be talking about tonight.
You know, thank you for sharing that. I can't stress to anyone who's listening right now, whether you're live or you're on the replay. I've personally been in this business for over 15 years, just myself. And I've realized that I can't do it alone. One of the reasons I believe I'm so successful is because I'm very clear that I like to work with the best in every single area. And I connect with people who provide the best quality services just like I do, and I bring them together on my team to work collaboratively. So I've been doing this for myself for a very long time. I've been bringing the best video people, the best copywriters, the best graphic designers, the best photographers, the best web developers, the best app developers, the best funnel builders. I can do a little bit of all of it, but I'm not the best in all of it. So what I do is I find the best and I bring them together, which has allowed us to create the Entrepreneurs Agency, okay? And this is actually something that is very, very important, because through the Entrepreneurs Agency, we are now being able to provide all the pieces to the puzzle under one roof. I don't do it all. I have a team that works with me that can do it all and in the right order. I'm just the person that aligns it all because I know what comes first. I'll give you a perfect example. And if this is you, I don't mean to offend you in any way. Please don't take this personal, okay? And maybe you know some people out there that fit into this category. Becoming a published author, writing a book is a great way to build authority. Okay. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs that I've seen that have gone through some book publishing program or have taken years to do it on their own and through trial and error, right? And to write a book's not an easy task. even if you pay someone to do it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. But the majority of entrepreneurs, I would say 95, 96% of entrepreneurs who complete a book never actually leverage the benefits of the book because they didn't do it in the right order. They thought that the book was going to explode them, their credibility, their sales, or this. No, the book is an add-on. Once you've established who you are, you have all your credibility. The book is what you use to get people's attention immediately and then drive them to everything else. But if you haven't built everything else and you only have the book, you're stuck and you're dead in the water. And I've seen so many entrepreneurs that have wasted so much time and money. And yeah, they have a book. Yeah, they're a published author, but it made no difference. It didn't produce results because it's only one piece of the puzzle, which is actually like the 10th or 11th step in building the puzzle. It took me like 15 years to bring my first book out. And I was doing 10 times better than 95% of every entrepreneur that had a book because I had all the foundational marketing, branding principles, puzzle pieces that were required before I wanted to add the book or felt that it was necessary to add the book to the credibility piece. And that's just one example. I can obviously give many, but if you're an entrepreneur out there and you're like, you know what, I've been wanting to write a book. I've been wanting to build a website, or I do have it. And yes, I have all these puzzle pieces, but they're not working together. Then I implore you, join us tonight at 7 p.m. for a webinar so we can share with you how to get yourself organized, how to streamline it, and why leveraging your personal brand is so valuable and important. And I'm going to invite you to join us for our event, Celebritize Your Brand in 2 days, which is now available digital, so you can start working on it right away. And you can attend with us at the end, July 22nd and 23rd of July, the live virtual event. So Karim, before we wrap up, we got literally 2.5 minutes. Is there anything else you want to share with everybody watching live and on the replay?
Yeah, I would encourage all of you to go and research yourself, like, or ask someone, hey, like, how about if you Google me and then you see what would communicate what you find? Because sometimes people don't realize how much they're missing, or they're not, the opportunities they're not having because they're not really aware of what is already talking for them. Because then you always have a personal brand. Is one by default, like people are going to interpret whatever they want, or they really get the message that you want them to have.
This is so true, so true. And if you guys want to connect with Karim, visit Karim360.com or join us this evening for the live webinar at 7 p.m. Eastern by visiting RayPerez360.com. As soon as you get there, there's going to be a little pop-up that you can click on, and right there, you'll be able to attend the live webinar. And as well, you can go to livewebinar360.com. That'll also take you to the registration page. So I want to thank you, Karim, for joining me for this afternoon live webinar, live broadcast. And I'm so excited about sharing the stage tonight on our live webinar for all these amazing entrepreneurs, especially the ladies, because tonight, it's ladies' night tonight, Thursday night, ladies' night for all the female entrepreneurs. Share this with all your friends. I'm really excited. Thank you so much, Karim. I look forward to seeing you tonight.
Exactly. Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care, everybody. Love you.
Bye.